Hello and welcome back to Motorsport Madness. My name is Pascal Mikula and welcome to another Formula 1 1991 review from HSO. This time it's the Italian Grand Prix from Monza. And before we start looking to the race, let's look at the grid. Alright, for the Italian Grand Prix I got my first pole position in the McLaren next to Ray Riddle's Ferrari. Third, also Ferrari, Michael Janak next to David Jakes and the Jordan. Fifth and sixth, the Benetton of Mick Chapman, Juha Boss. Seventh and eighth, Lewis Stevens in the McLaren, my teammate next to François Romain in the Dallara. Ninth, Yves Placet in front of Grande Riddle's Leighton House. And now let's look at the circuit. The track that will be driven on is the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. 5.8 kilometers, 13 turns, 53 laps or 2 hours, whichever comes first is the race distance. We managed to go all 53 laps in about 1.5 hours, a bit more than 1.5 hours. So let's have a look how the race went. Alright, Grand Prix of Italy starting about now. Red light, the engine is revving up, and green light. I get about the best start, no wheel spin at all, everyone else gets away well. There's a bit of lag there. And approaching the first corner, I get through pretty well, but in the background there is some whoopsie daisy, there's about 2 wings flying around and some cars cutting the corner, but that's not that much a problem. Everyone else gets through pretty well, except for Victor Montenegro. Unfortunately, his race ends in turn 1. At the end of lap 1, I lead in front of Jakes, Riddle, Chapman, Boss, and Michael Janak. And then, well, the other bunch. Again, we only have Victor Montenegro as a retirement. There's a Leighton House, that's Mike Becknell coming to the pits after losing his front wing. At the same time, Jason Fitch loses it at the entry of Parabolica, at the entry of the first corner. I'm really sorry. Here we see what happened. Just spun out and, well, he managed to rejoin the race, after all. And while all the fights in the front are going on, in the mid-pack, François Romain and Lewis Stevens fight, and François loses it into his self-made gravel traps in Parabolica. Prince Lewis is up to 6th in the points position. And here am I in lap 3 now, going for the corners with David Jakes Jordan chasing after me. Unfortunately, here we see Yves Placet chasing after Grande Riddle and unfortunately almost spinning out at the Ascari chicane. But keeps the engine running and comes out of it. Here we can see Paolo Rossetti and the remaining LaRue, since Victor Montenegro is out of the race, chasing after Brian Janik into Parabolica, and they didn't quite get it, while in front of them is Grande Riddle trying to chase after Lewis Stevens. And here we see me fighting off David Jakes for the lead. His car has a better top speed than mine, but I managed to outbrake him. I got more more downforce on my car, let's say that. And the chase continues. Here we see on the entry of Parabolica again, very close fighting. I almost got on the curb there. However, that kind of continues for a few laps. Again, we see the drafting, the slipstreaming. Jakes behind me, didn't quite see a point to pass, but we see again the standings: Jakes, me, Chapman, Boss, Ray Riddle, Michael Janak, and again in here in 6th is Lewis Stevens, followed by Grande Riddle, Brian Janik, and Paolo Rossetti. And the field isn't quite spread out yet. So here we can see Williams versus Ligier. That's Philippe Martinelli overtaking David Yund into the first corner in lap 6. However, in lap 9, Here we see David Jakes going for me, trying to outbrake me, but he didn't quite manage to do it. And he ran into the wall, unfortunately. Suffered some damage. So I'm free to go now. You saw, he was going into my inside, but, well, didn't quite get the braking point. Unfortunate for him, but that was not the end of his race. No. He came back and came to chase me. Anyways, now you see I'm being chased by Mick Chapman. He was in the Benetton right behind me while I'm here. That's Mike Becknell, who I'm lapping. Lap 9. Right behind is Mick Chapman, David Jakes, etc. Also very unfortunate is this move of Martin Lasina. He ran wide on the exit of Ascari and, well, basically kissed the wall, which would eventually lead to his retirement. What I personally must say I liked is how back markers made space for drivers to overtake. Here we see Coloni driver Jason Whited basically cutting the first 2 chicanes to make space for drivers to lap him. Very sportsmanlike. A few laps later, Louis Stevens basically gets the crap scared out of him when Mike Becknell spins right in front of him as he tries to lap him. Of course, the fight for the lead is not the only one during the race. For example, here we see a 3-man fight between Raoul Rupp in the Williams, François Remen in the Dallara, and Yves Placé in the Tyrrell. In front, Gérard Rion in the Minardi. Just a few places in front of them, Brian Janik, Grande and Paolo Rossetti are also in a 3-man fight. Here we can see them going through Ascari on lap 14. Just after I made a mistake at the exit of Ascari, you can see David Jakes again right behind me, and he's overtaken me on the approach to Ascari. Typical draft battle going into the Parabolica. I'm on the outside. Can I get the power down? Not quite. So he's still in front of me, but now I got a draft. This is how drafting works in Formula 1. I get up to a speed of over 340 kph, approaching the first chicane, lap 14. And here we see it again, me closing up, going past him, and in the end also braking later and getting past him again. That was, I must say, it was a very tense fight for the lead all race long. I'm not lying. No shit. And again, you see David Jakes in the slipstream, but he pulls back. He knows what happened a few laps earlier. Behind the 2 Benettons, the 2 Ferraris, and in 6th place, my teammate in the McLaren. And again, happening in the same lap. Here we can see again this 3-way fight between LaRousse, I think, or Lola, a Leitenhaus and a Minardi. That was really close because Grande just got, he almost crashed into the wall, which would lead to the And again, here in the front, it gets really tight for me because there's Mick Chapman's Benetton. Look at them going past. I mean, Jakes was going past, Chapman was just looking in my exhaust, and, well, this has become a 3-man battle too. It would become a 4-man battle just before I could think, holy crap. After a small collision in the Parabolica, you can see a few laps later David Jakes loses it big time in the first chicane. So he has to cut and give way to Mick Chapman. Oh well, of course continues to he of course continues to chase me because why not? He's fighting for the win after all. And I think we're closing up here on David Diont into Ligier. Yeah, so However, lap 26 was not to be good for me. As you see, you have boss in front of me and I make the mistake. I lose the car under braking. David Jakes crawls off right after me. So yeah, I'm basically almost stuck here. I fall back to 5th position. I was just thinking to myself, holy crap, Francois, why you do this to me? Yeah, and eventually Jakes retired. I managed to fight back and eventually also overtake Yuha Boss for the lead again. That fight would go on for quite a few laps. Yuha Boss, I must say, really talented driver in a straight line. But when it comes to braking, you can see how much later I can brake into the chicane. However, lap 42 would not bode well for Yuha Boss, as he finds out the hard way that his brakes are not the same as the McLaren Honda's brakes. He also finds out the hard way that the gravel traps are very sticky, as he struggles to get out of them. Well, I'm free for now, but you can see those roaring V12s. You see Ray Riddle there in front of Michael Janak, chasing up on me on the McLaren. Anyways, those two Ferraris were in a fight as well, so not too good that Michael Janak spun out there. Now I'm only being chased by Ray Riddle. For about 5 laps to go, and you see how fast he could close up on me. He was getting closer and closer and closer. Until with 1 lap to go, it was basically, you couldn't even park a smart between the McLaren and the Ferrari. Let's watch the last lap here. You can see he's very close on the second chicane approach, although he brakes quite early. I lock the brakes up. I'm really under pressure there. But you can see us both going into the Lesmo corners. Lesmo 1 here. 4th gear for him, 3rd gear for me. 5th gear for him, 4th gear for me for Lesmo 2. And I was sweating bullets. My car, I had not done one single pit stop this whole race. Ray had done a pit stop. He had better tires. And as you see, I slide a little bit out of the corner there, out of his car. You can see him getting closer. He's overtaking. He's going for the overtake. He's passed me. And he's passed me into the entry of Parabolica. I think I've lost this. But then Ray makes a mistake. He gets onto the grass. He almost loses his car. He almost loses his whole race in the last corner. And I am the winner of the 1991 Grand Prix of Italy, with Ray Riddle coming a close second. And a kind of distant third, Michael Janak. So, well, my first race win. What can I say? Feels good, man. Feels really good. It was a tough race. It was damn tough. You can see Ray having done his little donut there, and me, of course, doing my victory donuts. Because I finally broke my losing streak. I finally broke my DNF streak. And that with fashion, yeah? So let's look at the results of this wonderful race. 10 points, the first 10-pointer in my career, let's put it that way, for the McLaren. Second place, 6 points for Ray Riddle and the Ferrari. And a somewhat distant third place for Michael Janak. 4 points for him, and in total 10 points for Ferrari. And also what I like is that my teammate Louis Stevens finished 5th. So thank you again everyone who watched it. I hope you liked the video. I hope you liked this little review of the 1991 Italian Grand Prix at HSO. I do encourage everyone who watches, who is a fan of R Factor, to join in at HSO. We're always looking for new drivers, so yeah, keep coming, keep driving them cars. They're really good, they're really well made. And also the track pack by François Ramen is absolute wonderful. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the next review. Bye.